Hello, welcome to another home workout recorded live from Rex's gym. Yes, the banner is back. Today we have a strength workout. It's going to be based on what we did last week on the 18th. If you have not done that workout, I suggest you do that first because this is just a little bit more challenging than what we did then. So I start with the harder stuff when you still can get benefit from an easier workout. Makes sense. Let's get started with our high knees. Checking in how everything is feeling. If you did yesterday's sweat track, you may feel your abs a little bit. I do. There was a lot of sit-ups, V-ups, and that sort of stuff in there. But don't worry. Today is going to be all about those big muscle groups. Let's get into some quad walks. So again, check in. How's everything feeling? Any aches, any pains? Anything you need to work around? Or is there anything you need to stop and take care of before we're going to go into it? Cradle walks. Just find that range of motion that you have. You can get through. And hinges. And lunges. All right, now for our prep cycle, we're gonna have squat to stands for 5 reps and then bear kicks for 6 aside. So the squat to stands, just grab the front of your shoes, pull yourself down into a squat position, knees out, chest up, and from there drive your hips up, down, and up. I'm gonna do 5 of these. Then we're gonna get into that bear position. It's what we did last week as well. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. From there, engage the abs, glutes on, lift the hips, lift the knees just off the ground, and then kick one foot back and the other. No movement in the lower back. Once you've done 6, we're going into our squat to stands again. Try to get a full breath in each position. Check in. Does this position feel a little bit easier than it did at the start? Definitely does for me. Loosen up a bit. We're going to do 6 bear kicks on each side. right. Now, first superset is going to be the same superset that we did last week, which is the goblet squats and the push-ups, and they're still going to be for 15 each. However, we're going to play around with the tempo a little bit. Now the tempo is how fast we move throughout the workout, and it's usually 3 numbers, which is how fast you go down, how long you hold in the bottom, how fast you come back up. Today is going to be a 2-1-1 pace. So we're going to go down, controlled, hold for 1, then up in 1 as well. Start with the squats. If you don't have any weights, just do body weight. If you have a weight, load this up. 15 reps, straight into push-ups, 15 reps with the same tempo. 2 counts, 1 hold, drive up, 15 reps. After that, you get a rest. That's 1 round. We have 4 rounds. Not much else to say. Let's get into it. I have my trusted 24 kilos. Same weight I used last week. So I'm making it harder by just lengthening the time under tension. Because we're going to go a little bit slower, hold that bottom position. We're going to be working for longer, but I want to keep the same weight. So I'm progressing. So down in 2, hold and up. Down in 2, hold and up. As little rest as possible into our push-ups. Same pace. You might notice it just takes a little longer to get through the set and you're out of breath a little bit more. It's just because you're holding those positions for longer, working for longer, so you're causing more metabolic stress. Fancy pants words for you working harder. So now take about a minute rest until you feel okay, the breath has calmed down a bit and you're ready to do another great set. So if you feel like, oh no, not ready yet, take a little longer, that's absolutely fine. It is definitely an idea to do some mild stretching while you're waiting between sets. So I mainly go for some smaller muscle groups. So a back of the shoulder stretch, if you know you're tight there. A light doorway stretch would be another good option. So that's 1 round. We have 3 rounds to go. So we're just getting started. Two down, 1 hold, and up. and then the push-ups. Whew. Now, we talked about this before, but a preferred method of mine to make the push-ups easier is elevate your hands. So if you don't think, oh, I just can't get another set in, just put your hands on an elevation. 2 chairs pushed against the wall is a mild elevation. Kitchen counter, dining table, again pushed against the wall, so on slide, is a more acute elevation. And then if you're really struggling, go for wall push-ups. Keep the pace and just keep working. Now, for these last 2 sets, I don't mind if you don't get to 15. If 12, 13, 14, you just can't do it well anymore, stop. Don't keep going with crappy technique. That's how you get injured. But I'm absolutely fine if you stop at 13 if you can't do another good rep. Ideally, that's the point we want to get to, because then we know we're working at our limit. So I'd rather have you do a great 13th rep than get to the 13 and collapse and come up in some sort of hideous way. It's not what I want. Do it well. If you can't get to 15, just do a few less reps. You can see this as a rep range. I want you to hit between 12 and 15. Let's go for round 3, guys. We're already halfway. Man, oh man. Almost too easy. Getting tough, but that's what we want. We want those last reps to be hard, so you give your body something to improve on. If you do not push towards that point where you really feel some mild discomfort, your body has no reason to get better. Time, how are we doing? Okay. Whew. The rest should be mainly about you just catching your breath, having a drink if you want. So the less I talk, the sooner I'm ready for my next set. That's why I'm talking a lot. And postponement. Now that last set of push-ups was fairly tough. So good thing this is the last set. I can go pretty much until I can't do it well anymore. But of course, check, are you feeling it in your right areas? Like for me, my chest, whew, I feel that. So that's good. If you start feeling it in your neck, it means we're not driving the shoulder blades down hard enough. If you feel it in your shoulder, there's something wrong with stability there. So don't push through those niggles towards the end just because you think you can do another rep. You gotta feel it in the right places. All right, that's enough procrastinating from me. Let's go into our next round. Last round. All right, let's go for those push-ups, guys. All right, so I got through that last round of push-ups to 12, and after that, started going out of my chest into my shoulder on that last round. So that means I reached technical failure. I can't do it well anymore, so don't keep doing it. Have a drink, have a rest. That was our first superset. We have another one to go. Now, for the second one, exercises will seem familiar. We have Sumo Deadlifts, wide stance, knees out, chest up, drive up. And then we're gonna go down into 1, 2, up, 1, 2, up. Be very aware that the knees don't cave in. The knees stay above the ankles. If you can do that, come in a little bit to the point where you can keep your knees above the ankles. 15 reps. After that, that 3-point row that we did last week as well. So, one hand on the bench, feet nice and even, straight back. From here, 1, hold, 1, 2. 1, hold, 1, 2. 15 each side. Get a rest after the first round. We have 4 rounds. Very similar. So there's no pause on the sumos, just because the down position is on the ground. And the up position is not that hard to warrant a hold to make it harder. When you're ready, here we go. And then our 3-point rows, 15 is each side. All right, that's round one. Now, something to think of on that 3-point row. I want that shoulder blade to be the first bit to move. So I don't want your arm to start and then your shoulder to stay forward. I want you to pull that shoulder blade back, rotate through with your arm. Now your arm doesn't have to get further through than where the body is, because it's a little bit hard to see. But if I pull my elbow further through, that shoulder rotates forward again. It's not what I want. Shoulder blade back and let that elbow come back to the point where you can really feel that contraction in the upper back. Hope that helps. All right, when you feel heart rate has calmed down a little bit, you can do the exercise well. That's where we're gonna go. Remember, this is strength. We want to give our muscles the chance to be the limiting factor. Not the breathing. Find your position, knees out, chest up. Squeeze your butt and abs. Movement starts from the shoulder blade. Now hopefully you can feel your upper back on that 3-point row, because that's where we're trying to get to. My video seems to be doing weird things, so let's go to a brief intermission. And we're back. Hopefully the camera will keep rolling now. All right, round 3 out of 4. Start from the shoulder blade, feel the upper back. That's getting tough. Now, one thing about that row, and any sort of row, when you're gonna get tired, when you get to the end of your row, of course those muscles in the upper back are gonna get like kind of a little bit burned out. You don't want to do it anymore. So you might be relying heavier on other muscles to do the work. Like biceps is a classic example. As long as you initiate the movement from that upper back and not start curling the weight, it's okay to feel your biceps a little bit. They are helping with the movement. You just don't want it to be a bicep exercise. If you cannot feel your upper back anymore and you can only feel your biceps, that's when the technique and the timing is just off. So keep that in mind for that last round. If you feel nowhere else but your biceps, you're done. We're not trying to do bicep curls here. That's a waste of our time. If you can still feel the upper back being very, very contracted and working very hard, but you can just feel that bicep starting to work as well, that's fine. There's a difference. I hope that helps. All right, guys, last round. In the butt. Whew, just about right. I felt those. I definitely felt those. Now, If you feel for some reason towards the end you can't get that kettlebell up that high anymore, it's just because the biceps is getting tired and it doesn't want to do that last bit of curl. It's fine as long as you get that shoulder blade in position. Harping on about these shoulder blades, but it's kind of important. For a stretch, it's gonna feel good. We're gonna do a prey stretch. So elbows on a chair, bench or couch. Hands between shoulder blades, and then push your chest towards the ground. Full breaths into the stomach, of course. And the next one will be the frog stretch. Now the frog stretch, what we're trying to do is create a very wide squat stretch. We're gonna have the feet, the knees, and the hands on the ground. The knees are gonna be nice and wide, so far apart. Then we're gonna get nice and low and just push back into that deep squat position. If you get here and you don't feel too much of the stretch, just get your knees out a little bit wider still. So if I get about there, I feel more of a stretch. Full breaths. Last stretch. I want one foot on your chair, bench or couch. The other leg, it's fine if it's a little bit bent. We're gonna move this knee over the toes while keeping the heel in contact with the ground. So I'm putting a fair bit of weight on that ankle just to mobilize that knee over the toe. This is a stretch for the calf, but it's a stretch for the deeper and lower part of the calf. So you won't feel it up here, where you would feel it if we do a straight knee calf stretch. You're gonna feel it a lot more in the lower part of the calf. Now there is a possibility that you feel in the front of the ankle. That's not a stretch. That is what we call an impingement. Something is getting stuck in the front of this hinge, because nothing here is getting stretched, right? It's getting compressed. So if you have something that's not quite in position, then you can get an impingement. Often happens in the shoulder. When you lift your shoulder, you feel something squeezing, I guess, here. If you're like, oh, I feel the stretch right there. Or if you're doing a chest stretch, and you feel a stretch between the shoulder blades. That's not a stretch, it's an impingement. Something's getting stuck where the stuff comes together. If you do feel that, let me know. I can show you some ways to work on that impingement. Guys, you have survived all the active parts of this week's training. All there is to do is the recovery session tomorrow. Guys, you are absolute legends for getting through all that. Fantastic job. And I'll talk to you tomorrow while we stretch and roll.